is this decision good for the unit? You know, is this good for us? If it's good for us, it's going to be good for the show. If it's good for the show, it's going to be hopefully accepted by the fans, and then we'll continue to move us forward. And I think that he and I understand that it's bigger than us. You know, there's a lot of people outside these doors that come to work every day
and inside these doors,
and depend on us to show up and deliver.
Yeah.
And he and I know that. We remind each other of that, and we know that this goes beyond just he and I. So we make sure that, you know, just like you would with your partner, with the marriage,
with the relationship, with the business,
with work.
You're a CEO of a company and
Right.
your co-CEOs.
But if you want that to succeed, to succeed, then you commit to it,
Yeah.
and you make sure that it's working right.
And I'll go back to your question, which A, I agree, and B, I think he and I have a similar relationship with each other that we do to the fandom, which is, you know, we're going to mess up every now and again, but we're going to call each other out. We're like, okay, that could have been better. So he's called me up or talked to me in person, been like, buddy, like, buck up. Like, you're not being your best you, and vice versa. And to be able to trust somebody, it's the trust. Like, the fandom trusts the Supernatural group in general, whether it's the writers, the cast, the crew, the producers, whatever. And we trust each other. So if Ackles, the other day, we were doing a scene last Thursday or something, and Ackles comes up, and he's like, hey, dude, pulls me aside. He's like, dude, think about this. Like, maybe you're talking about it this way instead of that way. And I was like, sweet, done. So I did it. It wasn't like, who do you think you are? It's a difficult leap of faith to trust anybody else. But after we've known each other for this long, we trust each other. Where I can go like, hey, Ackles, blah. And go, hey, Padalecki, blah. So I think that's been part of it.
I think we know that I'm not telling him that to serve some sort of ego that I have. I'm not looking to set him up for failure or anything like that. I know that if he's doing well, it's
better for all.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander kind of thing. It's gonna be good for everybody involved, and so I want to make sure that, and also because he's my friend, and I want to see him do the best he can. I saw him do you know, that take. It worked great. I had an idea while watching him because nobody really knows each other's skill set.
No one knows these characters like
better than he and I do. So if he comes to me and gives me a suggestion, you know, that's better than just about anybody else giving me a suggestion, and you know, vice versa. So it's not like I'm going, oh, let me set him up because that joke was really good, and I don't want his jokes to be better than mine, or anything. There's none of that. It's like, no, I want it to be the best possible way.
It's a cool relationship with anybody when you truly want them to succeed, you know? And I think we feel that from the fandom, where we know that's why we do crazy episodes, whether it's the actors, the writers, or do funny lines or takes or whatever. We know that the people out there who are watching are rooting for us. And I think he knows I'm rooting for him, and I know he's rooting for me. So it's this relationship where it's like, cool, even if they bark at me. And by the way, there have been times in the last 14 years when I haven't been the best person on the planet, I'm sure. And he's been like, Padalecki, like, what's going on, man? Like, let's talk. And I've gone, yeah, you see me more than anybody on the planet, more than my wife, more than my kids, more than my brother, more than my parents.
And I think that's a you know, that's a testament to the relationship that was born on the show. It's obviously, it's both personal and professional, and we, you know, it's been really fortunate to have kind of a brother in arms like that for this long, and we still work so well together, and it's we know it's rare, and
unfortunately it is rare.
We're appreciative of it, and it's we know it's unique, but we're happy to have it.
Last two questions.
Yeah.
So after all these years, I'm thinking, I might be wrong here, there is like talks and how the show should end. And I hope it doesn't end anytime soon, but I'm just, my question is there an agreement between you two and the showrunners of how the show should end, like the final scene? But that's not a talk you guys have.
Final scene or final time?
Yeah, the final time, like, this is how the show should end. Are you guys in agreement of that?
Yeah. I think that when that time comes, that will be a conversation that he and I have, and that he and I will have together with, you know, our showrunner, with our executive producer, with our in my opinion. What's that?
But you have ideas, right?
As far as what that would be?
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Sure,
we have ideas,
sure, we have ideas, but I
don't
mean,
feel like I don't feel like either of us are the type of actors to go like, this show needs to end like this.
This is how it needs to end.
I want to have a cool car and some wind. You know, like
I know that I
share.
will certainly want it to be the best that it could possibly be.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully for the fans, we're not tasked with that. So we're not the writers of the show. If we were, we would have been canceled a long time ago.
Long time ago. Never picked up in the first place.
That's right. So I know the expectation that I have for that, and it's very high. But I also know the talent of our writers can not only achieve that, but surprise the hell out of us. So it would just be in their court, but it would be a decision I think that we would all come to together, and that's also a really, really cool thing to know that, and we've been told this from the studio and the network and our writers and producers that you know that will come as a collective decision. So, you know, it won't be like somebody coming down and being like, guess what, guys, you're
done.
You're all canceled. You're fired, and you know, start packing up.
Which happens in Hollywood.
And you're dying, and the car's on fire. Sorry.
Just before you read the script, I want to let you know.
Yeah, I think you know.
Again, that's the trust with the entire family, but the fandom and our bosses who are all here to celebrate the 300th episode. It's sort of, we have this knowledge that no one in the Supernatural family, whether it's our boss's boss, or the fan who just started, wants the show to end improperly. So I feel great trust that the writers, the producers, the executives at our network and studio truly want.
That's your voice.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry then. That's awful. No, we all want the show to go out with class, with style. So we'll see when that day is. I don't want to talk about it right now, so if we can all gang up on me.
Hey, I'm doing the T-shirt.
I know,
yeah,
I'm just
right.
teasing. Who was next? Yes.
What can you tell us about episode 300?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can give away too much.
We
I also know that
we haven't read the most recent version.
Yeah, I also know that there was a draft that came out that got greatly revamped, so we haven't actually read that new version of it yet. But I do know there's going to be some pretty awesome Easter eggs in it for a lot of people, and you know, it's hard to outdo some of the episodes, some of those monumental episodes that we've done in the past. The 200th episode, I think, was something we could certainly be proud of. But I think they're gonna bring out some their bag of tricks and surprise a lot of people with what they've got coming.
I think we all feel, and you know, there are two of us here, and there are 20 of you guys there facing this way. But if we can represent everybody who's on this side of Supernatural, we're all super grateful for all of you guys and gals. And so I think, unlike any other TV show that I know of in the history of the planet, we try to make sure that y'all are going to have a good time. You know, it's not. We try to give you. We say Easter eggs, things like cool little throwbacks to season 1 or season 5, or something cool that will echo something in somebody's mind. It's like, oh my God, I remember they said that to this person. So cool little, like, where's Waldo sort of thing. I don't know if that's a great analogy. But we are probably more grateful for y'all than y'all are for us. Like that, y'all are the reason, and who y'all represent and who y'all write about is the reason that we are still able to get here and play pretend about characters we really love and enjoy, and our writers are able to write crazy stories about this storyline or that storyline, and Mom comes back, or there's Apocalypse World, there's Michael and Lucifer, and like, who would ever think, like, if you walked into any studio and like, oh, I want to do a show about two brothers who could never die because they come back to life because they have an angel friend and he talks weird, and then like there's this and that, they'd probably laugh. But here we are 14 years later, so we're very grateful, and I think the 300th episode will be, hopefully, in my opinion, a thank you to y'all guys and y'all's constituents who you represent.
I'll say that I'm more excited about the 300th episode than I've been about an episode in a while, and I get pretty excited about a lot of episodes. And this one, I'm really, really pumped about the concept. And I also know that he and I have probably spent more time on the phone with the writers in LA about this particular script than any script in years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
And that's all the time we have.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We got one more. You want to do one more?
If you want to.
Sure. Yeah.
Through all this time the series has been on the air, do you think there has been a renewal of the audience?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. See you later.
Yeah, and I think largely in part due to the multimedia content stuff that is how serial shows are watched these days.
Netflix.
You've got all these different
Hulu and all
these different outlets, and so I think because of the way that content is viewed, the kind of binge watching, it's brought in an entirely new audience. Some who weren't even alive when the show.
That's what I was going to say. We have proof because we've met 13-year-olds who've seen the show. Like, we were in season 2 and you were
Right.
born. I'm like, yeah, but I've seen it 4 times.
And also we've gotten there's been so many fans have shared so many really cool stories about how they came involved in the show, whether it was their mother, their grandmother, their father, their brother, their sister, whatever it was. But the one that always gets me is somebody who is a grown, responsible adult coming up and going, I've grown up watching your show.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of really puts into perspective, 'cause
How old you are?
yeah, well, and just how long we've been doing this, and you can I mean, there's shows that I grew up watching, and to be complimented like that as I grew up watching the show is it's a really cool thing to hear from people, and it's those people that found the show maybe years after it had started, and then all of a sudden binged watch. We met a teenager the other day who said that she binged the entire series twice in less than a year.
It's a lot of
I'm like, you need a hobby. You need to get outside.
Why are you so pale?
It's a war. I'm waiting for you.
But yes, I will say that I don't know that we could have, if this show was premiered 25 years ago, that it would have had that kind of longevity. I think we just caught that wave when it started to build up, and nailed it when people were starting to have that streaming content and watching it in a binge, and to have a show that has this much content available to you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of TV.
And I feel like when people say, like you said, when people say I grew up watching your show, it's an interesting, maybe it's our vernacular in American English or Canadian English, but it's so much, it's so humbling to hear somebody say, like, I grew up watching your show, because there's a double aspect where they didn't say I got older while watching your show, or hey, I've watched this since I was 4. So I grew up watching your show. And so you think, okay, well, Jesus, what are we doing a show about? And you realize we're doing a show about sacrifice and loyalty and discipline and dedication, and trying to do the right thing, and brotherhood, whether it's between 2 brothers or between friends who one's an angel and one's a human, whatever it is. And so when somebody says, I grew up watching your show, it's humbling, because I go, you know what? As weird as it is that my kids might see Daddy die someday on TV and then get back alive, and Uncle Jensen die and get back alive, I think that's a great way to grow up, is seeing what the Winchester brothers fight for and live for and die for and laugh for and cry for. And so as long as that's going on, I guess
Here we are.
No complaints. Here we are.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
y'all are visiting, so
Hey, thank you guys for being here.
so much.
Thanks for
Thank
waiting
you.
for us.
God bless you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you all. I'm going to try and see I don't know which phone is mine, so I'm going to try. I'll just take all of them.